or not more
the
interesting,
devil's,
but that's
the devil's in the details. But you're going to see funds. I mean, the simplest thing is a Bitcoin fund, an ETF. But I think the devil will be in the details. There were already some people that were out there before this was happening, finding ways to do that. But again, it's when it becomes commonplace, when you can do it at your old, the place you've already been doing business with, if it's Fidelity or T. Rowe Price or whoever it is, you just pull more people into this ecosystem.
And so you don't think it's really about people necessarily, buying Bitcoin directly anymore? Do you think it's going to be via, I guess the question is, over time, how are people really going to be accessing this? And the reason why I think that's important, I think, is it sort of depends on what you think Bitcoin actually is.
So I'm in the lane that Bitcoin is digital gold, and it's a hedge against incessant money printing, right? It's a hedge against incessant bad fiscal policy in not just the U.S. but in the whole world. And so I don't think Bitcoin will be used as a currency. I think stable coins will be, and I think you're going to continue to see Bitcoin appreciate as long as we have governments that can't spend less than they take in revenue. And we're not even close to that, right? This big beautiful bill is a beautiful bill for lots of people, including if you have a data center and you get amortized, appreciate all your capex in year one, right? There are lots of great business things, right? I think our economy is growing faster, but it doesn't do anything for our long-term debt. And as long as that debt to GDP keeps climbing, you're going to see Bitcoin prices keep climbing.
What about Ethereum? Because that's been on a run as well.
Yeah, listen, Ethereum has a story that's a little different than Bitcoin, which has always been we're going to be the base layer of trust where lots of projects get built on top of. And it's going to be so used by so many different industries and people that it becomes a currency itself, right? And that story's picking up momentum, especially with stable coins, right? A lot of the stable coins will be running on Ethereum rails, and it's a trusted blockchain. And so but don't discount the fact that, Joe Lubin and Tom Lee have set up these Ethereum balance sheet companies, treasury companies that have given public market investors real access to not just Ethereum, but staking yield, potentially lending derivatives on it. And so that's pulling in money, and, prices are set on the margin. And when you have a couple $100 million a day of new money just buying, it draws people in, and you're seeing that happen. Yeah, listen, stable coins are going to be a big deal. It's going to take a while for stable coins as payment coins, as stable coins for AI, AI to AI rails to integrate into our financial system, right? And so right now, stablecoins are mostly used for liquidity in the crypto markets, right? They're the oil that allows trading in the crypto markets, and for overseas payments. And in that case, Circle and Tether, the two dominant coins, are probably going to keep their dominance. But over time, JP Morgan is going to have a coin, PayPal is going to have a coin, everyone's going to have a coin. And you're going to see other applications, and then you're going to see, I think, who actually wins this game long term.
Okay.
So yes, it's an easy, intuitive. I need to play stable coins, and there's one stock that does it. But remember, Coinbase owns roughly 50% of Circle in terms of the revenue flow, right. On the USDC at least. And not to mention, we just launched the European version, which I think in time will pick up.
Right. CEO Sam Altman is billing this as OpenAI's most reliable model yet, and comparing the leap to when the iPhone went from pixelated to polished. In his words, an incredible superpower that makes anyone more capable than even the best humans just a few years ago. Now, we're actually showing you that live stream with OpenAI execs that's underway now. They say the new version is available to all ChatGPT users, including the free tier. and that it's significantly better at things like writing, healthcare, and vibe coding. Now, that's when you let non-coders go from idea to working software in seconds. And to give you a tangible example, I watched in real time as an OpenAI researcher prompted GPT-5 to build a custom app to teach French. It built the bones of the app in seconds. But the biggest gains may not even show up in consumer chat. Developers who have tested GPT-5 over the past few weeks tell me that the real leap is in enterprise, so powering complex workflows far beyond basic chat.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And you know I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have the Ripple case is officially over. The movie comes to an end, and we know they dragged us out, so therefore they could kick the regulation can down the road. But now it's time to build. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Mike Novogratz saying that Bitcoin is a hedge against all this money printing. And don't forget, Mike Novogratz is a Goldman Sachs guy. And we know the banks are the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. They created this Bitcoin narrative to get us moved over to this fourth industrial revolution. And if you understand the plan, you'll end up on the right side of history. And remember, the Crypto Teacher tells you. And then Mike Novogratz says that Coinbase gets 50% of Circle's revenue. But we also know Goldman Sachs has his hands all over both. And again, the banks are the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. And then we have ChatGPT. And guys are going to keep coming out with these updates. And this thing is just going to keep getting smarter and smarter. And who funded ChatGPT? That's right, Microsoft, Bill Gates. The big corporations work together in order to move the agenda. Competition is just an illusion. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And then we have inflation, the labor market, and these tariffs. And inflation and the labor market allow the Fed to keep rates higher for longer. But now the jobs market is getting weak, and these tariffs are going to cause it to get even weaker. Because these corporations are eventually going to start laying off and turning to the machines. The rise of the robots, algorithms, and drones, which are going to increase productivity, that's going to allow the people to sit at home and get free money. And remember, the Crypto Teacher tells you. But little do they know, that money is going to be programmable, being able to tell you what, when, how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend it or poof, it's gone. And we know that is biblical. And speaking of tariffs, we have Lutnick on AI spending. Said it's more than consumer spending when it comes to GDP. That is ridiculous. That means that all these corporations know the agenda. That's the reason why all this money is flowing into AI. They want humanity out and AI in. And Luckner says we're bringing in over $30 billion a month. And eventually that's going to get passed to the corporations. The corporations are going to pass it to the consumer. And eventually the consumer is going to break. We know the consumer is already showing cracks. But then the new consumers will be the machines. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Closely watch inflation expectation numbers from the New York Fed, something the Fed is very concerned about with these tariffs out there. They rose for the 1-year level or the 1-year term and for the 5-year horizon, stable at 3 years. Here are the numbers, up a tick to 3.1%, kind of remaining sort of in the elevated range. 3 years unchanged, about where it's been. And then a pretty decent tick up there on the 5-year, which is the one the Fed is most concerned about, to 2.9%, up by 3 ticks. Expectations, though, for gas prices, medical care, college, and rent all actually declined. And unemployment expectations dropped 2.3 percentage points. That's the lowest reading we've had since January 2025, so less concern out there. But paradoxically more concerned about job loss and less confidence, or more concerned about finding a job. It grew.
Here's the most fun statistic. AI CapEx spending, so spending on AI last quarter exceeded consumer spending for GDP. So we've got so much investment coming into AI that what the president's done is he's harnessed it. He says to Apple, you've got to build here. Meta, you've got to build here. NVIDIA, you've got to build here. TSMC, you've got to build here. I just said $2 trillion worth of investment right then. So the president is harnessing all of this investment coming into America. They're going to be building plants in America. You know, TSMC announced $200 billion in Arizona, Micron $200 billion in Idaho and New York. I mean, this is huge, and it's going to be across America. So Donald Trump is grabbing it and bringing in all that investment into America. And basically what he said is, you've heard him say it time and again, if you build in America, you're not going to pay a tariff. And what he did is he said, I'll give you the leeway if you're committed to building in America, and only if you're committed to building in America. Then he'll hold off on your tariff. But if you're not building in America, 100% tariff.
Yeah.
Pay or perform in America. So last month it averaged just over 30 billion, and as of last night, midnight, the tariffs went up. I think we're going to be heading towards 50 billion a month in tariff revenue that no one's talked about except for the president. So think about 50 billion a month, and that's where we are now. And then you're going to get the semiconductors, you're going to get pharmaceuticals, you're going to get all sorts of additional tariff money coming in. And as the president says, this could continue to head towards and ultimately reach $1 trillion. I mean, these are amazing numbers for the United States of America, and no one's retaliating. Everybody understands you've got to sell to the American consumer. The American consumer is the most powerful factor in the earth for the economy, and Donald Trump is harnessing it for the benefit of the American people.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, is time to re-educate. Also, if new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance, do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Team goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.